Donald wants to give a lifetime judge appointment to a guy who says that marriage equality will lead to people marrying trees. And that's not even the craziest thing he said. The Republican healthcare bill is back from the dead, and coincidentally, dead is what a lot of queer people will be if it passes. It's an urgent week for action, and I'll have all the info you need on Weekly Debrief. Last week, I told you about Jeff Mateer, whom Donald Trump just nominated to be a federal judge. Of course, Jeff has no experience and a track record of working alongside hate groups. And now, guess what? Turns out he's even worse than we thought. New video emerged this week of Jeff Mateer calling trans children part of Satan's plan. He also defended ex-gay abuse, that's the crazy mad science that claims it can change a person's sexual orientation, despite mountains of evidence that attempting to do so is incredibly harmful. Jeff also said that marriage equality would lead to debauchery, and now the word debauchery means different things to different people, and to Jeff Mateer it means the ability to, quote, marry a tree, unquote. He really said that. Jeff Mateer believes that given the ability, people would want to marry trees. Okay, Jeff. So, what kind of damage could this tree nut do? Well, as a federal judge, he'd hear cases relating to constitutional protections, and there are a ton of cases relating to LGBTs coming through the courts right now. Just this week, the ACLU filed suit against the state of Michigan over same-sex couples denied access to adoption services. The way it works is Michigan pays private adoption organizations to place kids into stable homes. But the problem is that some of those organizations take the taxpayer money and then refuse to place kids with same-sex parents. And not only does that hurt kids by forcing them to wait for stable living situations, but it uses taxpayer money from Michigan to discriminate against Michigan's own citizens. That ACLU lawsuit and cases like it will be heard by federal judges. And if Donald gets his way, those judges will believe crazy things about queer people just like Jeff Mateer does. And if Jeff's already calling trans kids satanic and saying that same-sex couples want to marry trees, just imagine the kinds of rulings we're gonna get after he has a lifetime appointment. Normally, this is where I'd be telling you to call your senators and oppose Jeff Mateer's nomination. But we've got a bigger fire to put out right now. Trump Care is back, somehow, and headed to a vote in the next few days. The Republican health plan would be catastrophic for queer people, gutting coverage for LGBTs, and who are at heightened risk for a wide range of illnesses. The previous versions of the Republican health plan called for cuts to things like PrEP, which would likely lead to an increase in HIV. It eliminated funding for Planned Parenthood, which in some cases is the only place that LGBTs can obtain safe care. It disproportionately cut services for LGBT seniors. It placed additional burdens on childless couples who are more likely to be queer, in part because of discriminatory practices like Michigan's. So yes, Jeff Mateer is bad and we need to stop him, but right now Republicans are pushing a health plan that is really more of a lack of health plan, so people need to metaphorically kill it before it literally kills them. So call your electeds at 1-844-USA-0234, text RESIST to 50409, and write emails through democracy.io. And then hopefully next week we can go back to our regularly scheduled freakouts about bonkers judicial appointments. Until then, keep sharing these videos, keep in touch at Matt Baum on Twitter, and I'll debrief you next week.